on the same reality show I was on, and she was like, "Yeah, you should apply. I'll
You
walk
could just
through everything."
apply. Do they
Yeah,
need 48-year-olds?
yeah, they got them on that show too. Apply with me. Stop playing.
What
What's it
reality
called?
show were you on, Scooter?
Endurance 2, Blue Team.
Endurance 2.
too.
Sleep.
That's
Welcome
YouTube. That's the
clicked that?
wrong one.
Click. Oh,
I think that's the way the show starts.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have another banger for you guys. We are back with the Fearsome Foursome. Once again, Tom Grossi is doing Tom Grossi things. But joining us, we have 5 Point Vids, Urinating Tree, and Brandon Perna. Yes, we're going to preview the Super Bowl. But before we do that, we have a lot of things to discuss NFL football related. Okay.
You already got a gritty thing?
First
Already
gritty
got, no, it's not a 50.
of the
It's
stream.
500.
Whoa!
My
That's
God.
like 10 gritties.
Oh, 500.
500. Well, we better get that punishment ready for 5, and I think it should be something Saquon Barkley related.
Let's see here. Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer, and the only way he gets into Canton is as a visitor by buying a ticket. Manning might be a likable guy, even if he allegedly pawned off fake game-worn memorabilia to purveyors. The best player in team history is Lawrence Taylor, a massive drug addict, registered sex offender, and deadbeat father. Wow.
Wow.
You know what? Can I
Pay
use?
me $500 to roast my team.
You know what?
I'll
Why
take
don't
500.
we-
I mean, hey. Jeebus,
Listen.
Why don't we
God,
start
Ethan.
here, actually?
Love it.
Clickbait Sports.
We were going to get into that anyways, but why don't we just start the conversation here? Hall of Fame is coming up. There are some people that I think should be considered locks. Have you guys seen the list? What are your thoughts? Is Eli Manning a Hall of Fame candidate?
Ooh. Eli Manning is a Hall of Fame Super Bowl quarterback, but I don't know if Eli Manning had a Hall of Fame caliber career.
No, he's only getting in because of the name and the rings. Let's be real here.
So you think
We
he's
were
getting
arguing
in?
about this on Tuesday on Media Day with 5. Ben Roethlisberger has a better chance of getting in the Hall of Fame first ballot than Eli Manning. Because, I mean, I hate Ben Roethlisberger as a person, but, yeah, I mean, he's better than Eli. We're looking at the finalists right now. So we're Eli Manning's one of them. So out of all these guys, these 15, I believe that your first ballot Hall of Fame is surefire. Kuechly, I think he gets in first ballot. I think he's easily in. I think Antonio Gates gets in. I think he revolutionized the tight end position. I think he gets in. I would say Vinatieri gets a chance. I think he's able to get in.
He's
because
in.
of
I
just
mean,
the clutch
Vinatieri
kicks.
looks a lot better after Justin Tucker the last 2 weeks. So
no allegations. Yep.
If Darren Woodson does not make it into the Hall of Fame, I think this will be a tragedy. In fact, I think he should have made it the last year that he was up for it too. I cannot believe he has not made it into the Hall of Fame.
Mark this day in history. I agree with you 1,000%. Darren Woodson was the centerpiece of an elite Cowboys defense, and he is one of the most underrated players. He should absolutely. If you're going to put Troy Aikman in with that group, then Darren Woodson absolutely should be a Hall of Famer.
If Drew Pearson's in the Hall of Fame, Darren Woodson should be in.
What is it with Woodson's just being insane defensive backs? Darren Woodson, Rod Woodson, Charles Woodson. Can we have 3 Woodsons in the Hall of Fame? All defensive backs?
The Woodson Trinity.
I'll just take the Woodson defensive backfield, please.
Maybe it's like a Colorado Avalanche. It's just collecting all the lumber. You know, Blackwood, Wedgwood, Miles Wood, and then Woodson.
It's crazy, too, because as we're looking at this list, it also sparks another fascinating topic that we can discuss. Cam Newton was recently asked on a podcast, which would you trade your MVP title in for a Super Bowl? Right?
That's why I guess Eric Allen.
He declined. He said, no, I would not trade my MVP title in for a Super Bowl. And so my question to you guys is, Do you think that was a good thing for him to say? Can you understand where he's coming from? What would you guys choose if it were you?
I feel like the
Gosh,
Super Bowl
that's
is
tough.
more immortal because you have that ring. MVP is more of a personal accolade. Because I mean, if you were to ask like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, I think they trade that MVP for a ring.
Yeah. Does Josh Allen? Josh Allen doesn't even have an MVP to trade.
He's a finalist for one this year. I think
Yeah.
he's going to get it.
Well, here's the thing. The reasoning that a lot of people were saying is that, well, MVP is more exclusive. Every year, multiple people win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, garbage people win the Super Bowl.
Over 50.
It doesn't matter. It's a team sport.
It's a team sport. 50 plus people
won a
win
Super Bowl running quarterback.
Yeah.
One person wins the MVP every year, though. One person. So
I think it just probably like, I don't know. I've seen like that tweet passed around. I didn't actually watch what Cam Newton said, and I never like talking about something where I don't actually listen to what the person said, because I think like I need the context of it to understand if the answer is selfish, because I think like choosing MVP over winning a Super Bowl is the more selfish accolade to choose. And it's for that very reason. Like, if you do win a Super Bowl, maybe it's not as exclusive as a club to be in. But if you trade winning a Super Bowl, you're trading your accolade for literally your entire team, 53 other guys getting a ring, your coaches, your entire city, which Carolina's never won a Super Bowl. Who knows if they'll ever be back at a Super Bowl? Like, that's what people want you to talk about with that soundbite. But since I didn't listen to him say it, like, I don't know. Was like, what was he saying before and after it? Did anybody here listen to what he said?
I did not.
I just saw the immediate soundbite. I did not see like the surrounding.
Yeah.
Listen,
before and after.
They don't have a ring for the MVP. Like, you don't sit there and flex with your ring on your finger. They don't have an MVP ring. That to me is the biggest flex on earth, is to have a Super Bowl ring. And that feeling of feeling the confetti on you, like, that is more valuable to me than an individual accomplishment. Plus, you get to dunk on everyone at the victory parade. You get to say, whatever, answer your haters. Yeah, the MVP is great, but I think even being a role player on a Super Bowl team is something is priceless.
Nobody talks about MVPs the way they talk about like Super Bowl winning teams.
Oh yeah. Chad Henne is a Super Bowl champion. I think he has more like appreciation than like Cam Newton. He went to a Super Bowl and all he's remembered for is walking out of a press conference and not falling on a fumble.
Yeah.
And that,
right now, if you were to say Hall of Fame or one Super Bowl, like, would you rather have Dan Marino's Hall of Fame career or one Super Bowl win and an average career? Of course, I would take the Hall of Fame, because that to me is like, I'm one of the greats. I am canonized in Canton.
There are a lot of great players that haven't even come close to a Super Bowl. Barry Sanders was one of them. J.J. Watt. He just retired. He's not one. Earl Campbell. He didn't make a Super Bowl.
Jason Witten.
Shoot.
I would rather be the greatest player in NFL history in a contract year than any other player.
Albert Ainsworth.
Just every year I'm about to get paid, it's like, oh my God, this is the best player in the league. Next year, not so good.
Of course.
I want to make the most money and do the least on the field.
I think there's a lot of ways you can do that too, just saying. The big game. It's here. Gorge on those nachos and chug that beer while Aunt Sally laughs at those cheesy commercials. Speaking of cheesy commercials, Underdog, the partner of the stream. Think of Pick'em like the spread at a party. Pick from a healthy spread of players and stat lines, then guess higher or lower to flex your mind. Offering oodles of daily promos to help you out in your quest. Don't feel regret. Use a no-sweat token to cash in or get credit on Underdog. Let me whisper the secret code. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash in your first deposit plus a special pick in the lobby. Underdog. Do we root for it on Super Sunday? If you play responsibly, you do. All I'm going to say is I have to wear a Kenny Pickett jersey right now. You have to suffer along with me.
Listen, if Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer, he is a Hall of Famer. He's just not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, he's not.
Kirk Cousins is a Hall of Fame bag securer.
Generational.
He is the
Generational.
Who is the greatest bag securer of all time? If you were to put
Chandler Parsons.
Chandler Parsons.
NBA. This man
Russell
was
Wilson recently did a pretty good job.
Russell Wilson.
Here's my question.
Russell Wilson is a legendary bag securer.
Since we
Did
were
you
talking
see-
about Cam Newton, I have a question for you guys that I also saw floated on the interwebs. Someone put, and I already saw Tree's response, so I'm interested in Five and Brandon's responses as well. Someone put a tweet that said Jalen Hurts is greater than Cam Newton, as if like right now, legacy-wise, everything-wise, Jalen Hurts is a better player than Cam Newton. What is your thoughts when you hear that? Harrison.
God.
Dude, if you put prime Cam on that Eagles roster,
oh, dude, Cam on that Eagles roster with that arm, good Lord, like he's done.
Cam
Newton was throwing to Devin Funchess. Come on.
Yeah.
well, he was also throwing to Greg Olson too.
Yeah, and Steve
forget
Smith.
Greg.
Mhm.
Greg.
The thing, Cam took and dragged a garbage Carolina franchise from obscurity to a Super Bowl that was led by that hack Dave Gettleman. Like Cam, he is the prototype for the big body quarterback that could just run people over. Josh Allen has to thank Cam Newton for his career because no one ever did it like him before that. And maybe when it's all said and done, Jalen Hurts might be statistically and accomplishment wise better than Cam Newton. But as of right now, no, that is ludicrous.
Here's the caveat. Jalen Hurts played a lot better than Cam Newton in the Super Bowl in Jalen Hurts' first Super Bowl appearance.
That's true.
I think you're looking at I think Cam Newton was just such a ridiculous athlete. And that's not to say Jalen Hurts isn't, but Cam Newton was a freak. And I see some people saying Cam Newton had one good season. That's not true. He was rookie of the year, his rookie year, right? He was MVP that year that Carolina went to the Super Bowl. He didn't have maybe the longevity that you would have liked, but that's because of the way he played.
Yeah, he got a shoulder.
Like 2018 after that, it was just short because the shoulder just messed him up. And in the middle of 18, he was doing well. And then against the Steelers, it actually happened. So after that, he was forcing through that injury. And then 19 was a wash. And then 20, you realize his shoulder was gone. He still had the mobility. And you really have to take it through this era right here. This was a generational year. I mean,
ridiculous.
I mean, if you look at his rushing too, I mean, this is where he really came to shine because this was in an age where quarterbacks didn't really run. This was after RG3. Everyone got scared off of mobile quarterbacks, and it wouldn't really come back until Lamar Jackson started. So these were big numbers for a rusher.
14 rushing touchdowns as a rookie. You kidding me?
He had 12 for the Patriots, 15 in his MVP year.
And the thing is, when you look at statistics side by side, they're a little bit skewed because Jalen Hurts rushing touchdowns, a lot of them are 1 yard or less.
Tush pushes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
they're both good. They're both good.
I like Jalen. I just dislike the team that he plays on. Speaking of teams, the Chicago Bears.
If Jalen Hurts, though, if the Eagles win and we're like Jalen Hurts is the reason they won against Kansas City, he's going to be goated in a lot of conversations forever because he stopped the Chiefs from three-peating. He beat the team that's on one of the greatest football runs we've ever seen. Nobody believes in Jalen Hurts probably the way they should. It's all been about Saquon Barkley, and that's also true. But if Jalen Hurts balls out and beats the Chiefs in terms of solidifying his NFL legacy, he will have the greatest single stock boost we've ever seen. I'm getting
a little bias coming out there from Brandon Perna.
It actually reminds me of when Eli Manning beat Tom Brady. Not as big of a dichotomy, though, because no one really expected the Giants to win either of those times against the
They
Patriots.
were 10-point dogs. Yeah.
And
in the first
in this
one.
game, I think people are giving Jalen Hurts more of a chance, not because it's Jalen Hurts, but because of his surrounding help, basically. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon. But to your point, Brandon, on the flip side, if the Eagles lose and it's Jalen Hurts' fault, now that's going to open up a door that you cannot close easily.
If
It's going to
Saquon
be-
fumbles and Jalen doesn't
Oh.
jump on that ball, poor Jalen Hurts. Oh, I feel bad for him already.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the Chiefs don't have that Denver Broncos defense. That Denver Broncos defense was ridiculous. Von Miller was unblockable that entire postseason. I mean, what they did to the Patriots the week before, like, I think the Patriots had a chance to tie it. What is like 2018 at the end, and Von Miller was like, "Nah, I got this. Don't worry about this. We're fine." So to compare the Chiefs defense from 2 years ago to even the one that's going to play on this Sunday is not that Broncos defense was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's comparing this Chiefs defense to my 2015 Broncos. And if
they're
they do, they should be in jail.
They're an unsung defense, though. I mean, they don't have
No,
the
they're
star
good.
power that the Broncos defense had. Like, you had stars out the wazoo. You had DeMarcus Ware as a backup, a defensive edge. Like, that was a loaded team. Like, the Chiefs, their biggest stars right now are Trent McDuffie and Chris Jones. But they have a really solid, well-coached group. Carl Loftus.
No,
can
they're
do
all
good
good.
work in
Carl
that
Loftus
edge.
is good.
Yeah.
Their linebackers are good. The rest of
Jalen
their secondary is
Watson.
pretty good. I think Justin
Justin
Reed's
Reed.
underrated,
Mhm.
and he can kick. God forbid, if the Chiefs need a reserve kicker, they got one.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who
I mean, Kareem
should
Hunt.
be-
Underrated.
Speaking of people who should be in jail, we go to the Cleveland Browns.
Ooh, just all on the
Myles
ground.
Garrett
What a
has
segue.
requested a trade from the team that drafted him. Now, what is your thoughts, especially with the timing of this sort of taking all the Super Bowl edge away? Well, some other things did that as well, but this trade request sort of was dominating all of the sports headlines going forward. Five, what did you think when you saw this?
Well, this phrase in his thing was, you see it right there on the screen. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. He wants a Super Bowl bad. And he is very smart to recognize that that is not going to happen in Cleveland. He should have just pulled an Eli Manning and refused to play for them if that's what he actually wanted.
He might hold out.
The one thing, and I said this in my video, is like, Cleveland, there's no way that they don't mess this up, right? Like, every day they lose leverage in this situation, and they come out and say, "Hey, we're not trading them." Like, that is so Cleveland for them to just be like, no, you want to quit? No, we're just not going to let you.
That's simple. He's just trying to raise their value, because it's like, oh, if you have like 2 first-round picks, they say, no, you've already set that price at 2 first-round picks. That's what he's trying to do there. So I don't think that's really an issue. But they're not trading 2 first-round picks for a guy running 29 with that contract. Myles Garrett is really good, but you probably get maybe a first and a second, perhaps.
Yeah.
Do you
Just
really
because
think
of his
that's
age.
all you'll be able to get for Myles Garrett? Especially when you're looking at, what did Khalil Mack go for back in
Well,
the
he
day?
got 2 firsts and a third, but he was also 25.
Yeah.
Was he 25
that
or
was
27?
that
young.
was from Oakland to Chicago.
Yeah.
Not in the second trade. The second
Yeah.
trade didn't yield as much to LA.
Yeah, he was
But, yeah, he
26,
was a young
27.
buck.
So he was younger.
Yeah.
Like, he
Myles
had 4 years
is
of
getting
experience.
longer.
Now, Myles Garrett has 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
He has
Reigning
8 years of
defensive-
experience.
Yeah.
The Browns will
reigning
trade him.
defensive player of the year.
They're just
Call
going
it
to say they're
now.
not going to trade him.
Where do you think Myles Garrett is lining up week 1 next season of the NFL? I've seen the worst case scenario, which would be Philadelphia trading their first this year and their first next year. I've seen that floated. I don't like that whatsoever. What do you guys think? Where would be the best fit, best option for a team that maybe doesn't need their first this year or
The
next
team
year?
that needs him the most is the Buffalo Bills. The Eagles, it would be a luxury, and we just think Philly can make anything happen, and they kind of can. Bills need him. They're in a window right now. They need a guy who can get pressure without extra help around him, and that's Garrett. They're gonna release Von Miller. I think my top two teams were the Bills and the Commanders, and the Commanders they have money. They need some help on defense from the edge position as well, because the Commanders also have a really good defensive line on their interior. You put him on the edge there, it helps them quite a bit. But I would love to see Buffalo do it. And I think, like, if you're talking about 2 first rounders, a team like Buffalo makes sense to give that up because they're going to be late first rounders. So their value's different than, maybe that is higher up. But that's the thing. Garrett wants to go to a contender. So you got to ask the question, okay, who are those teams? Then all of those picks are going to be late round picks. And then the other part of that is, which contenders would the Browns actually trade him to? And the Browns also, if he does want to trade, they don't have to work with him. They can send him wherever they want because, as far as I know, it's not like a quarterback where he doesn't have a no trade clause in his contract.
Unless your name is Antonio Brown, because remember, his first trade was to the Bills, and he just sabotaged that immediately.
Yeah.
So you just have to be careful about that. But that's Antonio Brown. Myles Garrett is not Antonio Brown.
No.
I'm not saying that he is.
For the Browns to move on, too. They're not in any freaking window right now. They got to answer their quarterback situation. Like, I heard David and Njoku, like, pleading for Garrett to come back, saying, like, they're closer than it looks. I don't think they are. There's talent in Cleveland, but you have a quarterback.
Here's the problem. You need a running back, too, because, quite frankly, I don't know if Nick Chubb's ever the same. I mean, he didn't look the same earlier this year, and now he has a broken foot in a non-contact play. Sending all that money to Deshaun Watson was a colossal mistake. It's become obvious. And now he's probably never going to play again. He tore his Achilles again. Now his best strength was his mobility. He was cooked to begin with. So now it's the point where you're going to have to probably restart, pick another quarterback.
One thing Garrett can do, he can just play the long game if he wants and just let his contract expire and sign wherever he wants. And that might be the play that the Browns are thinking. It's like, oh, right, whatever, we'll just keep you under contract and we'll, but that would be dumb. That, like, right now his trade value is at its highest and it's getting lower and lower every day. So they just need to move. You're exactly right. They need to move on, get what they can from him. A lot of people have said the Commanders because they have the money. And that might make sense, but I don't know. Like,
the Commanders have a huge hole. They need run defense.
My stone cold lock with this is that Cleveland messes it up. Like, they trade him for too little to someplace he doesn't want to go. That or it's like, oh, we traded you to a contender, the Jets, and they're just like, what
about Dallas?
or Dallas.
Dallas is interesting.
He's Texas A&M.
If you look back, he actually said that when he was coming into the league. Hey, Jerry, did y'all see the video where he's like, hey, Jerry, come get me, draft me, Jerry.
What if they trade?
He likes
what
I had seen floated was Sam Williams and like a 3rd round pick for Myles Garrett. Like, so we would send them a defensive end so they don't have to, like, go out and get something. Sam Williams is a promising defensive end, just been injured a whole bunch. But it could be something like that as well, where a team trades a defensive end in addition to a pick. Maybe it's not 2 firsts or 1st and a 3rd like we're anticipating. So,
but my question is, if the Cowboys do get him, what happens with DeMarcus Lawrence or Micah Parsons?
DeMarcus Lawrence is interesting. DeMarcus Lawrence is interesting. We've drafted all the players, all the signs are on the door that he's not coming back, pretty much. So DeMarcus Lawrence is on the outs as of now for the Cowboys, just based off of the players we've been drafting in the draft. We have Sam Williams, we have Marshawn Nealon. So it's going to be interesting. What else is interesting is that in addition to the Cowboys looking for another edge.
Also put Myles Garrett in Detroit next to Aiden Hutchinson, or opposite Aiden Hutchinson.
That would be deadly.
That wouldn't be a bad one.
Now we're talking.
That would be sick. That would be sick. He would bite some kneecaps.
Chicago Bears owner and matriarch has died at the age of 102 Tree, you were talking about this earlier. Can you shed some light for those who might not be on the NFC side of things? What is the significance of this death? What did she mean to this team?
Well, the thing with Virginia McCaskey, it's complicated if you're looking towards a Bears fan perspective, because quite frankly, she was seen as the enabler of a lot of her kids. Like the McCaskies don't know what they're doing with the Bears, but Virginia was always a figurehead. She was the last remaining connection to the original founding owners. She was the daughter of a Papa Bear, George Halas. So that's where her legacy really comes in. She inherited the team in 1983. So what happened was it's been yet 85, but otherwise there hasn't been much there. At this point now, the question is, with Virginia gone, there may be an inheritance issue. The grandkids might want to sell the team. So there's your real issue there. And I mean, most Bears fans are also more or less just kind of relieved in an odd sense. I mean, they feel bad, but at the same time, it's like, okay, maybe the McCaskies are gone now, because the McCaskies have been holding back the Bears for decades.
Although this was probably their best offseason so far.
I mean,
they got Ben Johnson. They didn't think he was Tony up.
Yeah, I always thought that Virginia McCaskey would like feed on the souls of Bears fans for eternity. It felt like if you ever played Warhammer 40K, like the God Emperor just sitting there on his throne and 1,000 souls have to be fed into her to keep her running. That's what I felt like Virginia McCaskey was.
So you're saying there is no Stephen Jones heir apparent that's going to take over, come in, keep things running.
Well, this George is running it now. Right?
George is the one running it.
Yeah, George Jr. Listen, it was like the Queen Mum dying, for you British out there, all of our British audience that's watching. She was not involved in any daily decisions whatsoever. She's just the face of someone to blame. And they were just like, okay, let's just blame Virginia McCaskey for letting her sons run wild. But I don't think the Hollis family and the McCaskey family, the team is their only job. So they don't have another industry to go to, they're going to keep and retain the team.
The Broncos were
in the inheritance tax, though. That's the question.
The Broncos were in a similar situation after Pat Bowlen passed away. There was never one of his children that emerged as a successor to actually run the team, that went into a trust. It's not going into the trust with the Bears. Like, they've got George do it now, but like all of that money. And when you have, I can't even remember how many different children there were with the Broncos. When you have that many and they all want a cut and not all of them want to be running the team, like, it creates issues, and it's probably in their best interest to sell. And you have to, and for Denver, it worked out nicely. We got lucky in the ownership group that came in and purchased the Broncos, and the way they're running it. And you don't know that until they take over. Commanders, they got an upgrade with an ownership change, and there's a different level of money of these new ownership groups that are running teams versus like old NFL money. So I think ultimately, like, it would be a good thing for Bears fans, assuming, it doesn't go to like the next person who wants to buy a team, right? Is Bezos or something.
Yeah.
Bezos
is more or less, he's not going to move the team. More or less, the real issue is about their stadium, because they haven't really confirmed that they're staying in the city.
Yeah, they haven't figured that out.
Like, they want to build a dome where Soldier Field is. I mean, you'd be better off just going back to the suburbs and see what you can get from there, because they were close there, but it fell through.
Yeah, they have the land. They own the land. It's so dumb. Yep. But then the city was like, you can't do that. You can't go out there. We'll build you a dome. And then they're like, well,
Lightfoot.
It's all leverage. I think they bought the land. It's going to be a good investment anyways.
Arlington Heights.
Speaking of investments, the NFL is hosting its first ever NFL regular season game in Australia. 2026 Rams are the designated team going over there. What do we think about this? Is the NFL, is this going to make a dent really in the international audience? Do we see the NFL expanding, becoming more like the NBA, where we have this international audience tuning in to watch our games? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, where
Tight.
they're playing, if they're gonna play in Melbourne Cricket Ground, that is out. That is wild. Like that's the same as playing in Wembley Stadium or just that's their legendary. That's like Wrigley. That's their Wrigley Field, but
Nice.
more modern and better. So that is crazy that they're going to play there. I think it's also I predicted this in a video. I said they would go to Australia. I said they would go to Germany. I've said all these things and they've all come true. They're going to play a game in Greenland at some point because if there's people there, they will play.
I mean, if
We're
they
gonna
have
get
a
our
lot of
own
people
rare
there.
earth minerals. It'll be under
As
the
I said,
stadium.
The NFL wants to
Is that,
go.
is that your
international.
Trump,
That's the thing.
Brandon Perna?
No,
is that your
that's
Trump
my-
invitation?
That's just my Goodell.
Evil sign.
That's your
Oh,
evil
good job.
billionaire. Yes. Okay.
Give me those rare earth minerals.
What
Dude,
were
I'll
you
show
saying,
you.
Steve,
That's a cool
about
place.
Be
the
careful.
international?
to go.
They'll make an international development program. The NFL, as I said, they've been wanting to go international. They want to expand. They want at least, I think, 16 international games a year, at least one a
Yeah,
week.
you know,
They're trying to.
they.
And I know why they're doing it because I mean they're playing in Ireland next year. They're playing in Australia in 2026. A couple games in Germany. They're still playing in England. They'll be still doing London for God knows how long for time eternal. They want an international franchise. They might, as I said, they wanted an international division. They want to try to expand to 40
Here's my
teams.
question.
So that's just what the NFL wants to do.
If you want that and you're trying to expand and you're trying to grow internationally, what about bringing NFL Europa back? Do you guys remember this? I was watching NFL Europa as a youth thinking this was the coolest thing ever. I was probably one of like 30 people watching this. But like, if that's what you really want to do, why not really make a commitment like you tried to do?
And because
just
it costs too much money.
It's
they
also
don't
a
want to
developmental.
spend
Barcelona
that.
Dragons.
There
Yeah.
is
wanna
a
get-
there actually is a European football league. It's the European League of Football. It's an independent entity and it's very popular in Germany. So they do have a presence, but it's not NFL affiliated.
They're just
I
sending
just
out
wanna
the free
say-
samples to get people hooked. That's what their goal
That's
is
right.
now.
The crack. They're distributing
Yeah,
crack.
it's like those Costco samples. Like they're just there, just taking like here, have a little meatball, and they're like, and then you
I
buy
gotta
a bunch
the
of things.
bag
That's what they
700
want
of
to
those
do.
meatballs now. I got to pay.
Obviously,
Exactly.
Tree never turns those down. I will
Of
say
course I
this: you
don't.
will know.
Look at my shirt.
You will know that the NFL
to
has
fill into this.
completely sold out and has given up all veneer of non-crassness when there is an NFL game in Dubai, and they're just like, "Yep, we're doing it. We're doing it, and you're just gonna have to accept it."
They're gonna do
We
it for Saudi
sold this
Arabia, we
game
know
for
this.
$8 billion, and you
Rookies.
guys are gonna. You like all that stuff that we got for you,
Dude, if they play it on
we'll
top
all
of a
just have-
skyscraper, do it.
Yes.
They're gonna play on
Australia-
top of the Burj Khalifa.
I want to
Yes.
see a player posting a photo of like a huntsman spider in the locker room before the game. Like,
Yes.
I want poisonous animals and
They're going to
insects,
build the flying ship
all
from
of it.
X-Men and play
Yeah.
on that in the harbor at Dubai. That's what's going to happen. They're like, this cost all the resources in the world, but we have more.
You
yeah,
know,
I think like in getting into like cities that have big soccer presence, like a soccer presence, like they were in Brazil and there's Argentina, there's places they can still go that I think there's interest. As like a fan watching from here though, like it's cool that they go to Australia for the people that are in Australia that get a chance to see an NFL game, and then maybe like all of us, like we make videos about this stuff, so maybe we get to go to one of these things, and that part of it's cool. But like when you're watching the game, it doesn't fucking matter at that point. Like it's sorry against Scooter. It's like the game's in Germany. It's just another game on a different field, right? And I know they want to make a spectacle of it, but like I wonder how long that part of it lasts, where it just becomes like normal, and that they want like a game there pretty much every week almost, or a 16 or 17 set slate of games. And I think I kind of like the limited sort of amount of times they go in one season. Like 4 is pretty good. We start doing more than that, like the storylines are going to kind of just dissipate.
I think
what's
part of it
very
too is
interesting is the fact that European stars are having a lot of sway in American media these days. In American sports, what I mean is, hard pivot for a second. Look at Luka Doncic and this trade, this massive
my
trade. We're going
God.
to have to talk about this for a little bit. Bear with us, non-NBA fans. But Luka Doncic was traded from the Dallas Mavs to the Los Angeles Lakers, and people are calling this the biggest trade of their life. They're saying they have never seen anything like this. Why did the Mavericks do this? How can LA keep getting away with this? Veto the trade. What are your guys' feelings? Where were you when this news broke?
In my bed. That happened late that night, right? Was it
it
a late
happened
night?
around like midnight. It happened at
Yeah.
midnight Eastern. So
I thought it was
just
a joke.
I saw it on
sitting
Twitter
there,
late
like,
at night.
It was fresh
I
off
woke up.
I was like, huh?
dry January. I was
I
having
woke
like a
up and
thing
saw
of-
it, and my wife texted me. I was like, "No,
I
you're
had to do a
seeing
double
some
take. I'm like,
misinformation. NBA Centel got you. There's no way."
No,
I
it's
go on
chance.
ESPN. It's front page. Luka in a Lakers jersey. I'm freaking out because I have to make a video now. I call my cameraman up. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know where you were last night, but I thought you were gonna call me last night." But so this is crazy. I don't think you guys understand. Adam Schefter tried to put this into NFL terms and was like, "This is the same as like Josh Allen getting
No, we
traded."
understand.
No, not Josh for
What?
Lamar. No.
No,
It would
no,
be
it'd
more
some-
like it'd be more like trading 2021 Aaron Rodgers for Josh Allen. That's what it would be. Maybe a little younger.
The thing with what it's what they got. Like AD was not a great return. Honestly,
he's a good player. He just can't
Doncic.
stay healthy. That's the
Here's the
problem.
thing.
Yeah,
And
Anthony Davis is elite. He is elite. He is the best, if not one of the best centers in the game right now. He's elite. The problem is
can't
he's
stay healthy.
32. The
He's
problem
32,
is
and he's not that elite.
13
I got that
seasons
center. His name's Jokic.
under his belt. He has 13 seasons that he's played already. That's a lot of wear and tear on your knees.
They
Jumping up
traded a
and down.
superstar. That's all it is. Like, they traded one of the best basketball players in the league, and they didn't get the return anybody thought they should get for it.
The thing, and
I
here's
can't
the
even
biggest
think
problem.
trade
The biggest
that
problem
is.
is that this trade was only negotiated with one team. There was never a call put out to all of the rest of the NBA. Hey, Luka's up for sale. What's your best offer? Because if they would have done that, they could have gotten way more than just Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's the most bizarre part of it.
Well, they only offered it to the Lakers, and Rob Pelinka, he said, like, wait, you're joking, right? Because AD is an excellent player, but when you're looking at someone like Luka, who could be your franchise cornerstone once LeBron leaves for a decade, you don't blink. You make that deal. Even if he supposedly is pudgy, which is the reason why. Like, there are a lot of weird rumors going on around about this, like Miriam Adelson, I believe is her name. She owns the team now instead of Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban lost all his money in crypto.
Yeah, he sold his
shares.
Yeah.
So that's what he has a small share now, but Cuban would have been flipping a gasket if that happened. But apparently the rumor is she wants to try and like strong arm for a casino in Dallas or move the team to Vegas. It is a very weird phenomenon.
And then I also heard a more conspiracy related.
We got
try to boost the ratings, but
this is what yes, I heard this was to try and boost the ratings, but I also heard, through the grapevine, that this was done because LeBron James is apparently trying to start his own league that's going to rival the NBA. That's what I heard. That's what the conspiracy theorists are saying.
His friends starting one, but he's not affiliated.
We will
LeBron,
see.
The league is just old NBA players playing with their sons. There's only your sons can be on your team. You have to be a father-son combo.
Yeah, it's called the It's called the NBA, the Nepotism Basketball Association.
My last
and
question
you can
is,
only be related to someone.
To wrap this up with Luka. Who is the Luka Doncic of the NFL? That's a great tweet. Let me ask that. Who is the Luka Doncic of the NFL. Chat,
Is
give
the
us some
Luka?
comparisons as well.
It would be
Chiefs
like
are-
the third best player in the league, right? Or second
No,
or
Someone
third
young.
best player in the league.
No,
Someone
you need
young.
Jeebus.
Have not won the Super Bowl yet. It
Yeah.
maybe would have to be
Josh Allen.
Yeah,
It
Josh
might
Allen's a
have to be
good
Josh
comp
Allen.
for Luka.
Allen or Lamar.
Luca's won an MVP, right? Luca has an MVP.
Yes, he's
Yeah,
close.
so maybe
yes.
Lamar is a
Okay.
better comp.
So yeah, Lamar might be the comp right there.
It could
You
be.
know.
It could be Lamar.
It could be
It could be
Lamar, but
either.
Lamar is a 4-time MVP or 3-time MVP.
They're
Maybe.
just a
Right.
little bit older. Yeah.
We'll find out tonight,
Yeah.
right? Is tonight the honors?
I
Yes,
believe.
I think
I know
so.
they're doing the Hall of Fame nomination. Unfortunately, no Grossi back-to-back fan of the year. I'm very sad about that.
Yeah, he's got to give up the title.
Yeah.
Is
No.
this
Hopefully-
it? Is this the end
I
of
mean,
the
Is
title
this what?
Of life?
of?
Yeah, this is his last
the
day.
reign?
As maybe he's there presenting because
Handing
he
it
has
off.
to give it up. Like it's like the gold
Yeah.
jacket.
it's
at
like the
Masters.
Masters.
There you go. Fan of
Hand
the
it
year.
off to-
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yes, his
And
run's
then-
over. We don't have to call him fan of the year anymore.
Dang.
Yeah.
So what do we call it? Former fan. of-
Former.
Fan of the year. May we proceed?
Tom frickin' frackin' Grossi.
So I guess it is now time for us to say our Super Bowl. Who we think is winning? What is the final score? How is this game going to go? And I've done some reflection personally,
Okay.
and I might have to change up my answer a little bit here. I might have to change up my answer.
Oh,
But
okay.
what are you guys thinking? Let's
Going back
preview
on
this
your
Super
word.
Bowl. Who has the advantage going in? Who will be victorious?
The Chiefs have the advantage. Yes.
Why do the Chiefs have the advantage? I
'Cause
feel
they-
like the Eagles have a great defense and a great running game. Why do the Chiefs have the advantage?
Because nobody can beat them,
Experience.
Scooter.
Yeah, they have devil
They-
match. They have
Aaron,
devil
bested
magic
Philly.
refs on their side.
That is
Yeah,
true.
Patrick
And
Mahomes.
also,
Yep.
Jalen Carter has, and now
flu.
apparently biological warfare is now part of the
Yes.
arsenal.
Lane Johnson also sick. Quinion Mitchell has laryngitis. There's like 4 or 5 Eagles who are sick right now.
Listen, I don't want them to lose like this, but I'll take it. You understand what I'm
Well,
saying?
well,
I
not
don't
a
want
single
that.
Chief gets sick,
You dare
it's
deny Kenny
over.
Pickett the chance to
over.
win a Super Bowl? Come on, man. Like this shirt is like the neck is huge on this thing. Like it's, this is a poorly designed shirt because the arms are like tight. It's weird. It's like what? It's a double X, but the neck is like I could fit 2 of my head in here. It is just like what is
That's a
this?
big-
It's
that's a
like
big
a
jersey.
metal. It's like I don't know what this is.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
So-
I'll predict first. I
Okay.
cannot have nice things. I think the Eagles will win because I've also been wrong for the past 5 years or whatever. I think every Super Bowl prediction I've made has been wrong. So I'm going to take the Eagles, and they're going to win 31-28. And Saquon's going to score 2 touchdowns and take Jalen Hurts for an anytime TD as well. But if I were a betting man, laying on Patrick Mahomes as Super Bowl MVP would be a smart bet.
That's the thing. It wouldn't be shoulder pads if it were like the neck, though. The shoulders aren't really that big.
There needs to be
The
at least
arms are
one
tight.
Chiefs player who at least pretends to have the flu. If not a single Chief gets sick, then we can really double down on the conspiracies. If it only affects the Eagles, like somebody in Kansas City, even if they're not sick, like if I'm Andy Reid, I'm like, all right, Travis Kelce, you go out there and you say you had the flu, you were up all night. We'll put you as questionable on the injury report. You're going to play. We know you're going to play, but they need to do that for the optics. They need to.
I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying. Who do you have winning this game though, Perna?
Mm.
Knowing that one team is battling the flu, laryngitis, and general dislikability because of where they're from.
I'm actually going to take the Eagles. I think Philly's going to win.
What will the score be?
I said it when I talked to Tree and Adam on Tuesday. I'm just doubling down on Saquon Barkley and the Eagles' offensive line. If it was just Saquon having an insane year, and you're like, oh yeah, he's so good, but it's Saquon and that line. I think that's just a hard combo to stop, especially when you've got a complementary defense. And the Chiefs, we've seen both Buffalo and Houston run effectively against Kansas City's defense. I'm really just basing it on that. And I think Philly's defense matches up pretty well with Kansas City. Here's the caveat, though. Philly has done a great job like slowing down offenses all year. Fangio did that when he was with the Broncos. I used to say like Vic Fangio's defenses are really good, but they kind of struggle to get off the field on third downs. But then once they get to the red zone, they're pretty good. Kansas City all season long, like their offense has been methodical and slow. They just chunk away at teams. So like Kansas City's also built to play against that style of defense. I don't know what breaks first, but I love Saquon Barkley. I want the revitalization of the running back. I want that story. I want Saquon to win Super Bowl MVP. I'm sick of these quarterbacks winning the stupid ass award. Give me Saquon, baby, in Philly.
Final score is
33-23 Eagles.
okay. Tree,
See,
what are we saying?
I believe the Chiefs are unfortunately going to win. And I know I got to respect my boy Kenny Pickett for making the Super Bowl, but it's just there have been so many weird ways the Chiefs have won. And I think what it's going to come down to is a completely legitimate penalty on the Eagles that everyone is going to call rigged on the Chiefs. That's how it's going to go. It's going to be a walk-off field goal by Harrison Butker yet again. And all of Twitter's going to melt down. It will be 19-17 Chiefs. And
not only will it be a
die.
walk-off field goal, it's going to double doink and still go in somehow.
Triple doink.
Triple doink. Yep. It'll. Yep.
Boing, 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 boing. It's like, oh,
That's what'll
Hearing-
happen. Like everyone will be
hearing
like,
what-
look, they finally screwed up. And then you're like, nope. That's not what
So
happened.
hearing what all you guys have said, I realize I've made some mistakes. I've been, what's the word? Biased a little bit.
You
Just looking
You
back,
think.
just a little bit biased. So you know what? I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to take the Eagles to lose the Super Bowl by
Wow.
17 points. I had it at 14 last week.
boom.
Yes.
Got him.
17
Yes.
week.
Yes. Thank you,
17.
Scooter.
I got you. 17 points. Listen, the flu is running through them right now. They got some weird diseases they're dealing with. Super
Biological
Bowl week
warfare.
is long too. It's like by the time you are playing football, you have gone and done so many different things. It feels like a month, the week leading up to the Super Bowl. I only know because I went, and it felt like forever before the game was even being played. You add that with the weird luck, magic, whatever that Kansas City has been getting. It's going to be not close. Jake Elliott is going to miss multiple field goals. He is my favorite Eagles player right now. Kellen Moore has been activated as a sleeper agent. This was our plan the whole time. We infiltrated Philadelphia, put Kellen Moore, and now he's getting activated. He's going to score 17 points while the Chiefs score 34 points, 34-17 Chiefs. Let's go. Chiefs Kingdom, I'm riding with you.
Do you know what else you can ride with, my friends?
The big game. It's here. Gorge on those nachos and chug that beer while Aunt Sally laughs at those cheesy commercials. Speaking of cheesy commercials, Underdog, the partner of the stream. Think of Pick'em like the spread at a party. Pick from a healthy spread of players and stat lines, then guess higher or lower to flex your mind. Offering oodles of daily promos to help you out in your quest. Don't feel regret. Use a no-sweat token to cash in or get credit on Underdog. Let me whisper the secret code. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash in your first deposit plus a special pick in the lobby. Underdog. Do we root for it on Super Sunday? If you play responsibly, you do.
Kenny Pickett, he says it.
Is there anything you guys would like to discuss before we go to the countdown? Anything we've missed?
Nope.
Oh, we just got a fitty bomb from
Oh, Fitty.
Mustard Face. I think that's from
Mustard
Scooter.
Face.
Sick son of a
I
gun.
think that's for
Listen.
Scooter.
One
Listen,
day you're eating ketchup, my friend.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. I'm not Tom, but I don't care. Let's go.
20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 4. Scooters coping and seething right on the floor. And if you don't realize that the Cowboys aren't winning anything, Brian Schottenheimer's your head coach. And that's pretty much all I need to say. Brian Schottenheimer's your head coach. Congratulations.
Listen, I like
That's
the
pretty
staff
funny.
that we've come up with. I'm leaning into the Brian Schottenheimer signing now that the full staff has been.
You are coping and seething.
All right.
You are coping so hard, dude.
All right. I'll start it off. I have $20. I'm not getting punished today.
98.
I have,
Actually.
172, 5.
$522. Back-to-back punishments. Ethan Mack tipping the scales in the first minute of the game.
You gotta wear
with
the
a
castle head,
$500
nerd. You
I
do.
know. So
Where the
you're
what?
lucky because I'm an actual artist and I can make this.
Oh, yeah.
Adam's got to wear that
Stupid
next
castle.
stream.
Oh, yeah.
Or in a stream.
You need to
Yes,
make
I
it
have
like,
all the things
you need to make
to
it
make that.
red and yellow and write Chiefs Kingdom on it. That's what I feel like we should do.
Ooh, yeah. Well, depending on who
Well-
wins, I guess, right?
I think it'll be better if the Eagles win, but maybe it's got to have some Eagles, Commanders, and Cowboys logos on it. Just
It's got to have some
Okay.
Saquon in there, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just a little
I will
division
make
rivalry.
I will make this with foam and
Nice.
57
Yeah.
months for stealing from Shohei Ipe Mihusara.
yeah.
That's
I don't
ends.
think that's what really happened. That is a
if
fall
you
guy,
do-
right?
You do
there.
Underdog. Do not get
Mhm.
your Japanese translator to steal your money for you. Just
No.
What do you guys have coming out on your channels?
Literally after this, I have the history of punting on third down in the NFL. You would be surprised at how often teams have punted on third down and even second down in the NFL.
NFL season
Teams have
briefing coming
punted-
out later tonight, working on the final bit of overlays in bed, and we should be good to go on that. It's just a pain in the ass to deal with the overlays. It's just one of those things.
Yeah,
That's fair.
it's coming out at 7:15, by the way. Thank you, everyone.
Perna, you got anything coming?
Yeah, I've got a Broncos video tomorrow. Put up a history of the Super Bowl halftime show episode yesterday. There's always something to watch.
There is.
Oh,
Always.
did you see Scooter? By the way, tell us what you got coming out, Scooter.
I have Cowboys fans before the Super Bowl that'll be dropping tomorrow. We'll also be streaming the Super Bowl as the Chiefs dominate the Eagles. Tune in live. Put your notifications on. It'll be a glorious time. What were you saying though, Five?
Oh, did you see where Micah Parsons said that the Giants told him that they were going to pick him at 11,
did.
and then
I
they traded
did. Y'all
out of that
blundered.
spot? And
Y'all got Kadarius
yeah.
Toney instead.
You got a future first round
Yeah.
pick that turned into Evan Neal, so congratulations.
Yeah, sort of. Okay.
That's the thing with
Well,
those
whatever.
trades. You got to hit on those things you acquire, you know?
What
Yeah.
can you do?
Mhm.
We
All
will
right.
be back next week, and I will be here to say, I told you so.
Are you?
We'll see you back next week.
Yes.
All right. Love y'all.
I mean, I feel dirty wearing this green, so I'm just.
I'll
gonna
be
take this
wearing a
ball right
castle
now.
on my dumb ass.